actually, the Urban League chose me. I replaced a board member, Sheree Inge, who was representing State Farm Insurance. State Farm, has supported the Urban League for many, many years. And Sheree was leaving State Farm, and she felt as though I would be a good replacement for her. And it's interesting because she said, hey, you know what? Your involvement will be maybe 2 meetings a month for 2 hours, because being, a manager at State Farm, I kind of felt like I don't have a lot of time. So I said, I can take on that challenge. But quickly after coming on the board, I realized that it was more than 2 hours a month. But, I signed a 3-year contract, and so I've kind of, adhered to the contract. And after initially being the Budget and Finance Committee member, I became the Budget and Finance Committee chair. Then I was asked by our current CEO, Ray King, to become the board chair about a year ago. So kind of moved up rather quickly. I've been a member for now about 3.5 years I've been on the board. Being around for 3.5 years, I've seen how the community needs the Urban League. We're a nonprofit organization, and we serve many needs in the community. And I think it's a vital component of the community. For every person, regardless of ethnicity, that is underserved and has been underserved in San Diego County. So I felt like for me, it was very important to be a part of an organization as a volunteer that really stood for something. There was a time where I thought about maybe becoming a member of the NAACP, but quite honestly, I wanted to be a member of an organization where it really made a difference. Whereas the NAACP is more of a legal, avenue for African Americans. I felt like the Urban League was a little bit more close to home, where people can walk in the door and say, "Hey, I need help with my everyday life." So it kind of makes me feel good to know that I'm part of that type of organization as a volunteer. With our new CEO, Ray King, we have gone from being an organization that pretty much has asked for things. We've actually had our hand held out, asking for support in the business community, to one whereby we're offering a service. We are becoming a fee-for-service organization. We're doing good things. We have established a business model, a small business model, which to me is extremely important, because I think that in order to be a viable organization going forward, you really have to offer something to corporate America, because gone are the days where you simply can ask for money and the corporations get nothing in return. So we are being run like a small business. We are being run profitably, so we can sustain ourselves for the long haul. So that's the biggest change, that we are being run like a business as opposed to a nonprofit organization. We're changing our focus. We're now, we're no longer an event-driven organization. We are an organization where we are actually offering services, and we are getting fees for those services. We're offering viable programs. So these are things that people actually need, as opposed to holding a dinner, holding a luncheon, and asking for large corporate donors to give, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We are actually running this organization like a small business. So that's why, I've actually stayed on longer than my initial 3-year stint. There was a time when I thought the future was pretty bleak, because I couldn't see how we were changing the culture of the Urban League. With our new CEO coming from the private sector, and I actually work in the private sector, I think our future is very bright. The culture is being changed, as I said earlier. We're fee for service. We're being run like a business. We are actually running the business profitably. We no longer deficit spend. We ask the critical questions prior to spending the money. Is this worth it? Are we going to actually generate a profit by hosting this event? And if we're not going to do it. So we've become much more fiscally conservative. And I think, that bodes well for our future. So I think that, 3 years ago, I couldn't say that. But today I can say that, going forward, I think we're going to be in very, very good shape. My passion, I would say from a community perspective, is to have an organization where the people in the community see it positively. I think it is very, very important that, the African American community sees the Urban League as a beacon of hope, where you can go and see the best and the brightest at the Urban League, where if Abdallah steps down as the board chair, someone else steps up who is just as passionate about making sure the Urban League sustains itself going forward. I think it's critically important that from a board perspective, and also even from the CEO perspective, that we get the best people in the community to be a part of this. Because again, we do represent the community.